All right. I'm back. This is open forum Q&A. Welcome Dorsey to Dorsey's Resource. This is going to be I'm back open forum Q&A freestyle free flow. Meaning in case anybody joins in, you're welcome to ask me questions. I had some things I want to kind of get off my chest. This is not going to really be a rant. I'm going to kind of have to speak in code regarding some things that have happened. I hope you guys who do celebrate the holiday had an excellent, wonderful Thanksgiving. Those of you all who had time to spend with family, etc. I'm happy for you, and those who went shopping for Black Friday. Now, I took a little break, but I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. I had some subscribers that contacted me, and please understand that I didn't really intend. Allow a few amount of people to reach out to me. I'm at this time presently. In the past, I went over what I was specifically looking for, the criteria, just to give you guys another heads up. Plus, I'm part of something else. I was part of a private clandestine humanitarian program. There was a Hispanic guy in California who contacted me, and I did receive your message, Humberto. Appreciate you. I believe he's a subscriber. He reached out to me in regards to the individual. I won't say his name in the video because that's what I'm going to kind of have to speak in code, but that was something separately that I was part of, and he didn't have anyone else who he was in contact with to get back in touch with the family people. Though some of you all know who I'm speaking of, the few that are part of that organization or private clandestine thing, and I'm just calling it that once again. And he was appreciative, but however, I'm on a graveyard shift, and I feel like you definitely got to respect my time. I do get the text, but I can't respond to everybody. I reach out to those who are in my immediate circle, who I've already made contacts with already, because it's not that I'm neglecting or ignoring some of my subscribers. There's some things that I can't really go into that I would really like to. There's some things, minor issues with the job, stands for just over broke, because I call it the slavery plantation. And I should have been out of this a long time ago, but I'm not going to spend time ranting in that regard. But it is kind of a hindrance, a nuisance in a way, because dealing with the private thing that I was part of, I'm going to refer to as the private clandestine operation. I was going to speak a little bit about. There's some things since the individual has resurfaced that I do have my pet peeves about. And it's not that some individuals called me up because I had did a live video on my personal Facebook account in regards, and they said, oh, you don't want to go back on your word, because I did remove the videos in particular in regards to that event out of respect. But at the same time, we have not been funded. And I noticed that there's always these promises, excuse after excuse after excuse. And I'm going to say for those out there, there's people that are part of other things where they had to sign non-disclosure agreements or confidentiality agreements, and they were compensated as a result. But the thing I was part of, many of us, we weren't compensated like we were supposed to. So you can understand, it's not that I am someone who is, how can I put it in the right, I'm looking for the right words, but you guys are going to know what I mean. I'm not the type of person who is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like right at the tip of my tongue, but people that are ungrateful. It's not that I'm ungrateful, but I do have to point out some things that I'm displeased with. The other individuals are kind of kissing butt. They're going along because we were given a proposal, an obligation with this private clandestine event for those of us who wanted to stick along, that they put in context if you were going to be a yay or a nay. And they did mention, about taking care of the people who even were nays to get them funded. But if you want to stick along, because it's so private, and I'm being private in the way I'm mentioning this, but those who know will kind of understand where I'm coming from, that there appears to be some stipulations that there was a requirement. I won't say there was a certain amount of time that it was stated that he would like you to stay with him if you want to do these humanitarian projects. Because I was thinking about doing a video about humanitarian projects. It's been on my heart and my mind for a while, like paying it forward. And I have some ideas, but there's some other stuff going on at the same time. But I'm going to say this too, that in order for the powers that be at the top, for you guys to expect people at the bottom to keep their mouths zipped or shut, you guys need to make things right. And I'm going to kind of get you, those at the top who may understand, to kind of read in between the lines. And I'm going to explain what I mean, and you guys are going to understand and get the point. And I'm speaking to the higher ups or whoever's running this thing at the top, because they don't want to say that they just want us to follow them off of blind faith. And he mentioned he was told to be quiet for 3 years when this individual resurfaced, and I was on that particular conference call. I was listening in. Of course, I think I chimed in with the question a little bit later, and there were some people who were frustrated that showed their discontent. But however, I feel like, in my opinion, these individuals, they have enough slaves within the system, the public sector. You have enough people who want to be brainwashed. They don't want to hear about this independent news because they feel like this is fake news. That's fine. I'm not trying to convert you. I don't attend church regularly like I used to, but I'm still a spiritual person. Have a spiritual foundation. However, and I'm a fair person. And I understand different people's ideology, where different people are coming from on both sides. Not to get political right now, but if this does lead into that, I will explain and elaborate. I'm very well studied in certain regards of things that I've researched, and I have very knowledgeable contacts. And what I do in the past, I've mentioned this, is if there's something that I'm not strong in, a particular subject matter, like say political science or history, I have a friend that went to school for history and political science. Now, he's admitted he's learned information from me that he didn't know about. That's when two people knowingly, they're not trying to compete against one another, but they're being honest about brainstorming, and they're tolerant. They're not intolerant. Because a lot of people who claim they want one side to be tolerant, they happen to be intolerant. And remember, intolerant people leads to authoritarian regimes, at least from socialism to communism. You guys kind of get the drift, because that's part of political science and the discussion. If you study, for example, and I'm not campaigning for nobody, neither party, I'm just saying from the outside looking in, I look at news articles from both ends of the spectrum. But if, for just using this as an example, but if you look at like Dennis Prager's videos, he has some educational content on YouTube from a political science aspect. That's actually a class, it's subjects that you can major in college. A lot of times you have to take microeconomics. Sometimes it gets into finance, knowing about the banking system, because a lot of times people brag about their degrees and stuff, but they don't mention how this applies to real everyday life. And this is what I mentioned to a friend of mine, that I only got as high as maybe an associate's degree, but I learned more information from the redemption movement of how to actually apply those college classes that I took, which I didn't understand at the time, because some instructors, they don't really teach you, or colleges, how to apply those classes that you took to real life, or what the purpose of you taking those classes were for. So follow me, but I don't want to get too far off track. But that particular event, my rant or my complaint is not that I'm ungrateful once again. I just feel as though the powers that be, they should have taken care of us, those of us who did sign NDAs or confidentiality agreements already. Now, mind you, I'm not one of those people. If I had been funded already, I admitted to a friend of mine, I've been through a lot of stuff. It's not that I'm selling out. I said, he convinced me some years back to go public, and I said I really didn't want to, or whatever, and I'm not afraid. And I work in security. I work with law enforcement. I've trained in martial arts before, so I'm not afraid of certain things that certain average and everyday people would be afraid of. Even though I'm passive aggressive or whatever as far as personality wise, but that doesn't mean you take my kindness for weakness. That doesn't mean I'm weak, by no means. I have an alpha male side. But the true alpha male, there's different types of alpha males. But I was one interpretation of an alpha male that I was reading as someone who's grounded, who knows when to back down. Like, I know a person that was a very highly skilled fighter, very high. And I was actually trained by this individual, and he told me a story. There was some years ago how martial arts, when you take it, is not about being able to, just because you're so good at what you do, being able to beat somebody up or just say, hey, I can do this better than you. But he said it's a way of life. And there was a situation, he was in a confrontation with a certain individual where he said he allowed the individual to win. But the individual didn't have any idea. This individual that I know had really had kicked some butt with some individuals in the past. I remember one story he told me about. He took on a guy that could bench press 1,000 pounds, and he was just a little bit taller than me. But training wise, very well conditioned, as he taught me from his training. But the aspect that he taught me was to not, when I got into discipline, because he had to determine if he was going to decide to train me. At first, I had to basically go through like an initiation process or an evaluation process from him, and just giving this background how this kind of applies. And I had to meet, a certain quota in terms of my character, which after seeing something he told me of a situation that some years ago with my father, he said that he decided to train me because he saw something from my character I won't really go into details about, but he would mention about holding on to your integrity, which implies honesty, sincereness, not being manipulative, stuff like that. These principles apply to life, because martial arts is not just about fighting, but it's a discipline dealing with the way of life and how you treat people with respect, like Aretha Franklin's song, RESPECT, and how you carry yourself with honor. So my message to these individuals, and I'm referring to that event, once again, I feel like, in my opinion, they have enough slaves within the system, enough people who want to be brainwashed. Those of us who went through the procedure, please keep your promise and your word, follow through on what you said, because this is why you get sometimes you get people who will, become, let's say, non-compliant or not compliant. I think to help a better solution for you guys, people at the top, when you go reach out to recruit individuals, you need to take care of them. If you're going to, especially if you're going to have them sign confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements, you need to take care of them financially. And someone was trying to say on this last call, and this person, I don't know why he has this older guy, sounds he's irritating in a way. I get what he's talking about in a sense, but it's like, I don't learn from this guy that well. He's talking about some private sector information, and it's like, this wasn't what I signed up for. I signed to learn from you directly. Like when I attended this seminar years ago, we went through all this confusion when all these other people came up to the microphone and were trying to walk us through the information. Because let's be clear, I was under their tutelage at the time, as well as other people. And we expected, when we paid money for the event, it wasn't like I was looking to get something for free. Like a lot of people on YouTube, I don't have a Patreon account, but I need to. I feel like I should be getting paid for this too. So this is why you're on my time too. I have some individuals that sent me text messages, and I will get back to you, but I'm not in a rush. I'm on this graveyard shift, so understand, you got to respect my time. And I mentioned this as well, and I was looking for a specific criteria of people to assist me. And I'm gonna say this again: unless you have credentials from the private sector, unless you are already an elite and you understand the banking system, how to pull the registered securities and bring it into the public, I don't really want to get to know you. I'm not trying to. I already have enough people in my circle already. Okay? It's not that I'm neglecting my subscriber base of people who are subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you. But at the same time, the criteria that I mentioned a while back that I was looking for was people who are already skilled. They already have a skill set. For example, just to throw some names out there, Yusuf El, for example, very phenomenal. Jonah Bay, great skill set. Eon, great skill set, and what they do in terms of this redemption stuff, education, just to name a few. But I'm looking for, and I said this, and I'm gonna say this again, I was really looking for a female. It would be great to find a female feminine energy to complement me, or someone I could train. My former girlfriend, I trained and taught her what I know. But dudes, I have enough people in my circle, and enough masculine type energy. I need, what do you say? The balance of the universe. The universe is based on balance, yin and yang. you know, to complement me. Like the female is the yin, the male is the yang, or fire, from what I understand. There's balance between the two. Just like if your body medically, if it's too acidic, you need alkaline to balance it out. You're eating too many foods that are causing the acid acidic, so you need to have it balanced. So it would be great if I could find a female, but that's fine if not. But I'm specifically looking for someone who has knowledge of the private sector, somebody who is willing to help. Say, hey, Dorsey, I feel your pain, I feel your struggle, I feel what you're going through. I want to help you get out of that 9-to-5 job. Not just, I know how to, you know, do a few things with the 1099. I know how to do something with Treasury Direct. No, you're being a burden, because I stated previously, I'm looking for individuals that know specifically skill sets in these regards that can get me, or know how to help me get access to the money, the currency. So I'm kind of speaking in code in a way, but for those who all understand, and I'm sharing this as a courtesy. I never had to even share this information. So understand that when I've shown the books and stuff, I've done that as a courtesy. You know, so just be grateful and thankful, just to show I'm not an ungrateful person. I've already helped out enough people. I paid my dues before. And I'm not saying I'm part of a secret society or Mason, none of that. You know, I could have joined. Years ago, I was going to pledge in college to be a Phi Beta Sigma, but I never went through initiation at the time because the dues were expensive and I couldn't afford it at the time. Same thing with some Freemason Masonic chapters. I checked into different types of lodges, and there's different chapters and other secret societies I won't get into. But the thing I was looking for was someone who had a specific skill set or criteria that say, hey, look, Dorsey, I'm willing to help you. I'm in the private. I would keep that person. You would have a friend for life. You have somebody, I'll fight for you. I'll go to the ends of earth. You know, if you were to pull me through to get access to what I'm trying to do, because I don't, to sum it up, I really wouldn't have never gone public. I would not be on YouTube. I tell a friend of mine that if I had access, he calls it my ship selling through. He says, you know, if your ship had sailed through already, you know, then I could have been out of this 9-to-5 job. There's certain things I'm not going into yet out of respect for the company or whatnot, because I do understand, you know, right now, individuals don't necessarily need to be in my business, but some of my family members that know me personally know what I've been going through, you know, but it's not super major, but it is some things that I went through and some things that I learned from speak, so I can speak from experience too, by the way. And I had some friend of mine on standby with some things I mentioned in some of my other videos that took place in the past dealing with the previous election with Trump and Hillary. Now, I'm not a registered voter, but I gave my opinion about the situation. And one thing, you're not going to send your operatives, your underlinks to call me once in every blue moon or try to spook me, scare me. Because one thing, I'm passive aggressive. But if you know anything, there's a saying about people who are really quiet or introvert too, by the way. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't go looking for trouble, just to sum things up. And like I said, I've helped a lot of people, and I feel like the universe in balance is supposed to give back to you. That you put in what you put out. And I feel like too, I'll speak my mind, that certain individuals don't deserve this information and don't deserve what they've already gotten. You know, but that's a whole nother video, a whole nother subject within itself that I could touch on. You know, for all these people part of the grievance culture that has this victimhood mentality, or grievance industry, as a friend of mine puts it, that these different groups that play as though they're the victim and woe is me, you know, we're going through much worse than you. No, I can make an argument, things that I've been through with this job. Like there's this saying that women allegedly make less money than men, but they don't tell you behind the scenes, statistically, men work longer hours. And the types of jobs that we work, and for example, I can use my company as an example, they don't do things like changing tires and stuff on the vehicles. The majority, there was a few that had in the past, a minute few, but especially a lot of the minority women that did come, because for a number of years, we didn't have any minority women. It was all guys, because I work in private security. And some of them were even supervisors, and they didn't do stuff like changing tires to do the types of stuff that guys would do, but make the same amount and sometimes will make more. You know, and I'm speaking from experience. I haven't gotten a raise since I've been here. I'm not in a sense, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying some of these statistics are not telling you the full story. They're lying to you. So you have this grievance industry, and you know it goes in different categories with genders and different people that play with this victimhood stuff. So I'm a tough guy, you know, and that's part of being an alpha male too, by the way. Some people misconstrue what an alpha male really is. And a true alpha male is grounded and knows when not necessarily to get engaged in a fight. Alpha male too knows, is smart and knows when to just stay grounded too, by the way. And alpha male is going to have discipline, because somebody that's impulsive is not as disciplined, by the way. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. But this is kind of turned into a rant, but I did say this was an open forum Q&A video. So once again, you are welcome to join in if you did have any questions pertaining to anything. But if not, you know, that's fine, because it is late. I'm at of course, the slavery plantation, as I call it, you know, in a way, as a figure of speech, no pun intended, but it is for what it is. But I just wanted to be clear on addressing some things in the past about the criteria that I was looking for individuals out there who contact me about the dinar. Okay, I see Cinnamon Jones in the chat. Greetings, Cinnamon. How you doing? Welcome, and thank you for joining. Hopefully, I provided enough clarification in the previous video, by the way, or one of the videos with the voter registration. I did see your feedback, so you know, let me know. Hopefully, I was able to address as much as I could dealing with that contract under the civil right. You know, you can look up the Voting Rights Act of 1965. That was under the civil rights category. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm still here. Okay, I'm back. Had to listen out. Had these radio checks I got to answer, which some of you guys know when I was on the Discord. Hold on. Okay. Ironically, okay, I see Scrums, welcome. It's been quiet. I haven't heard anything. I'm still waiting for the GCR. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that. Because I had a follower that texted me and asked me, have I heard anything about the dinar? And I'm gonna say this once again. I do follow different conference calls that have information in regards, but I've told one of my other subscribers in a different video, I said, just hang in there. I don't control this. Other individuals have mentioned this. For those out there who believe the legitimacy of it, that have seen the evidence, the executive order some years ago that was passed by Bush. I don't remember the specific executive order. Those of you all who've seen the receipts from not only certain banks, but brick and mortar currency dealers that sell it, know the legitimacy that some of them would have been shut down if it was a scam. And I'll just leave it at that for the most part. There's no way you can speed it up. It was a long process. I recommend checking out this documentary called Changes on the Horizon, parts 1 through 3. It's called Changes on the Horizon, part 1 through 3. I know I did some videos in the past on that topic where I kind of ranted about it. And the reason I left them up, and I might take them down like soon as I get funded or whatever, And I'm gonna be honest, if there's powers that be listening or individuals in the private sector, like say, man, Dorsey, you're too public or whatever. Trust me, once I get funded, this channel will come down. I already removed certain videos already. I'm to self-censor myself because I never really intended to go public. I just wanted to show evidence behind what I researched because I was tired of hearing some of these gatekeepers, trolls, deep state agents, minions, and collaborators out here tell all these lies, and even got channels now doxing people and trying to say they're a scam and this, that. Now, I'm not saying you don't have con artists and things and people like that out here. You have con artists and everything. But why does certain individual focus just on the redemption movement, and she didn't focus on Wells Fargo using people's social security numbers, all the security breaches with Best Buy, Target, when this made national news, Yahoo Mail having security breaches with people's personal information getting out there, the credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Why don't Virgo Triad talk about that? Why does she focus, her and Van Bellen or whatever, on these people in the so-called redemption movement getting pulled over by the police because these are less informed people who haven't taken a legal class or don't understand the court system? There's other stuff to talk about, to be well-rounded, that issues that we have that are more important. So let's be clear on that. To clarify, and I know you guys listening know what I'm talking about, definitely to clarify and show substantial, credible evidence, because you've heard about these scandals that have been public in the news, that these individuals I just mentioned that are gatekeepers, and Snoops.com and Fact Check, which was funded by Soros and created to refute the truth, refute what the independent media is saying. I know sometimes the independent media can be slightly accurate, but at least they report on things that the so-called mainstream media doesn't talk about or report on. They don't tell you the whole story. And a friend of mine pointed out how a lot of these news agencies, there's like this video on YouTube. He sent me recently where these NPC memes got banned, or a lot of leftist people were triggered by it. And like I said, to reiterate, I'm not on either side. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm not a registered voter. Let's be clear on that. I uphold the process of voting, but I don't want to be attached to the negative consequences that come attached with it. Because let's be clear, it is a contract. If I was a registered voter, I felt I would have voted for Trump, because for the black community, I felt personally he was the lesser of two evils in comparison to Hillary. That doesn't mean that I co-sign everything he says, just like it doesn't mean that I co-sign everything Alex Jones says. Let's be clear on that. Doesn't mean, because what they're trying to do is lump a person's belief system or people that follow these people. They're trying to lump everybody all in one category and say, all you people think alike, exactly like these people. No, that is not true. That's not the case. And many of us are more well studied because we're tolerant. Tolerant means we're able to tolerate, things that might look uncomfortable because we realize we're learning a different perspective. So I understand where each side is coming from. I read the articles from both sides. So this means I'm not going to get as triggered. I'm actually more well studied. I have a lot of liberals in my family, by the way. And I was seeing all these posts on Facebook with, and I was getting an email from a particular relative. I know from what I pieced together, she voted for Hillary and was sending me this email about this Gillum guy down in Florida who was running against DeSantis. Like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I don't normally curse, but I'm like, I don't care. This dude, I could tell, she sent me a video where this dude, he was having an sit-down interview with that comedian that always makes fun of Trump, that light-skinned black dude, I can't think of his name. And they were at like some type of fish restaurant, and I listened to what he was saying, and I said, this dude is a socialist. I didn't even know what Marxism and socialism was until the time Obama was getting elected. And there was this guy I worked with, white guy, he was an electrician, and told me Obama was a socialist. And I did my research, because at the time I didn't know anything about this stuff. And I asked a friend of mine who studied political science, another friend who was very, very well studied, credentials, could blow a lot of historians away. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Like, and his research is impeccable. I mean, we can break this stuff down about all different secret societies, Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, Wahhabis, you name it, different topics, dictators, history, you name it. Dude is cold-blooded. So I got several friends in my circle like this. So you're not gonna compete. You're not gonna beat us in terms of knowledge. Our stuff is way more credible. I'm not trying to boast or brag, but we're very well studied in my circle. So I asked a friend of mine at the time. I said, "What is socialism?" And I know he had already studied more history than me. I kind of had an understanding, and he was saying how it was tied in with Marxism. So I was listening when my relative sent me this email because she was pulling for this Andrew Gillum, or whatever the dude's name is. And I was listening. He was saying he wanted to raise corporations' taxes by 3% in this interview. This part, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I listened to as much as I could at the time before I had something else to do, absorbing a lot of information. And I said, if he raises, say if he was to become governor, I guess DeSantis won, but if he was to become governor and he raised the corporation's taxes or whatever, I heard that that's one of the things that causes corporations to not necessarily come to that state or want to do business, because the taxes are higher. Or what they're going to turn around and do is charge the consumers or people who shop at these corporations. They're going to charge higher sales tax or put it off on the consumers or the employees or whatever. Take more out of their, like when you have these unions, whenever the new contract is up. Because I have a friend of mine, I won't say he's part of a particular union in Detroit, and he told me some of them compromised, but they had to take a pay cut. They felt it was better because some of the companies started getting bold where all they'll do is just hire new people. But I was listening to the guy and I said that won't be good for the Floridians overall if he wants to raise the corporation's taxes down there. And I lived in Orlando, and their cost of living at the time, I stayed there in 07. I was part of a rap group. A friend of mine gave me a chance to live there back in the early part of 2007. I was down there for about a good 2 months approximately. And their cost of living was already higher, even though they didn't have, I think, a state tax. But their cost of living was higher than even in Detroit. Their sales tax and stuff. So to raise the corporation's taxes, I was like, oh, this dude, because I hear the Democrats, they raised the taxes. You know, that's why Trump, he had this tax plan that they tell you wasn't good, this, that, and the other. And, you know, he's punishing these other countries with these tariffs, because these other countries were benefiting. If you look into it, like off the cars that Mexico imports into the United States, they were mentioning how Mexico is benefiting, but why isn't there a benefit for the U.S. citizens? Or why did corporations outsource their corporations and put them overseas? Like Apple. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, a lot of Americans need to boycott Apple. I hear about a lot of these boycotts. I hear about these factories they got over in China where they're paying people pennies on the dollar, their citizens, over there, tying them up to trees because they're complaining as they're working long hours. They don't really have unions and labor laws, because, you know, China is authoritarian. They're communists. You know, I hear that they're creating this thing called a social credit score, where they want to base it off your political views. That's authoritarian, but that's what liberals, that's what the left wants. So I don't think that's good, and people need to really look into that. I was telling a relative about that, and they were very concerned. Said that's what they want over here in America. But a friend of mine was mentioning, if Tim Cook, Apple, brought his factories and had them solely here in the U.S., he could hire U.S. citizens. It would empower people over here in our country if they wanted to have a strong domestic product. That's not to say if you didn't want to allow other people through a legal process to come over here and have a better opportunity. But this, like, from what I see, they're trying to purposely destroy our economy and create a permanent underclass. Because let's be clear, under Obama, there was a recession for a number of years. I even saw on MSNBC after Trump got elected, by the way. And I'm just saying what I saw from the outside looking in, because I'm not a registered voter, but I was over a relative's house who's a liberal, who I think she voted for Hillary Clinton, if I'm correct. I was looking at her post on Facebook. That's how I kind of pieced it together. And she was looking at MSNBC, or the nightly news with Lester Holt. And I know who he is. And he was saying that Trump was bringing jobs back to the economy. This is right after Trump got elected. He's saying he's turning the economy back on. People are getting hired. And I just had a relative when Obama was still in office who was complaining, said, well, at least you got a job. And I don't, a relative in Cleveland who was telling me this. He was like, at least you got a job and I don't. True story. I'm not making this up. And I was like, okay, Didn't think nothing. I was happy to see my family at the time. But about a year, not too long later, Trump gets elected. NBC admits with Lester Holt, they don't even like him. They don't like Trump because, you know, they're just like CNN. They talk all this stuff. You can tell which side of the aisle they're on overall, you know. And I'm saying once again, that doesn't mean I co-sign everything Trump says or does. You can say some pretty wild things or whatever. And I get where each side is coming from with all these scandals, but I can do a separate video for that to break down, you know, who's committed the worst crimes or who's done worse. In my opinion, what I've seen, who's in comparison to the deep state operatives and minions and underlings who know who they are, part of these secret societies. So don't let me get started in my rant, you know, don't. So overall, they admitted, Lester Holt said Trump is bringing jobs back to the economy. He's turning the economy back on. Guess whose show I heard that on first? Alex Jones and InfoWars. The show Alex Jones and InfoWars, once again, I might not totally agree, but watching it from a fair, balanced perspective, when you play devil's advocate and you're able to learn and critique information and brainstorm and think and not just allow other individuals to tell you, oh, vote for this person. Well, just because I was getting these emails from this individual and I watched the video, I said, I'll check the guy out. Like, okay, I'll check out whoever Gillum. And mind you, he's in a totally different state. And then you had LeBron James, who was campaigning for, what's that guy down in Texas who was going against Cruz, Beto? The guy Beto. It's like, LeBron, you're in California. You're a basketball player, too. Stick to your discipline. You know, I'm not trying to sound like Laura Ingraham, but they have a point. You're being paid billions of dollars. You don't relate to the poor, the middle class. And I heard he got a big tax write-off for that school in Ohio. And it's publicly funded. But a lot of people in the black community, you need to throw out, why didn't you guys fund Dr. Umar's school? But complain about saying, oh, he took the money, this, that, and the other. Well, here's somebody, I believe in Umar, somebody I met, somebody I've bought, helped support buying his DVD. I haven't been able to get his book yet, but I believe Umar is more sincere as far as an activist for the black community than a LeBron. He cares a lot more. And I don't necessarily agree with everything Umar says, too. And I'm not part of any organizations. I just believe in his message and wanting to help black boys because I do understand both sides of the spectrum. I do understand the neglect that's happened, some of the prejudices with people I like to refer to, people that are being mistreated, and that's wrong. Racism, prejudice, bigotry, that is wrong. And I don't stand for those things. So I do understand both sides of the spectrum. But let's be smart. Don't be influenced by the ruling class at the top trying to brainwash you and influence you and using their operatives and minions to run off at the mouth and even trying to threaten people too. Because like I said, I'm passive aggressive, and there's a saying about people who are really quiet, but kind of speaking in code, but you're not going to intimidate me or whatever. Certain individual call once in every blue moon, you know, this saying, why haven't you still at this job or whatever, this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm still here. It is for what it is. You know, I'll be here until I decide to do something else, until I feel like something better comes along. But by no means does that mean I'm a beta male, because I'm holding it down. You know, I got my own place too, by the way. Nobody pays my rent, my bills. My sensei used to tell me this years ago. He said, all these people will try to give you advice. But he said, ask the question, do these people put food on your table? Do these people pay your bills? Do they pay your rent? No, they don't. I'm truly independent, and I'm doing this without Section 8, without government programs. I even found I even got something called rental assistance, or through HUD housing. So some people, you know, I work hard for mine. You know, actually this week I'm doing a 7 days straight. By the way, I'm just putting that out there. 7 days straight on a graveyard, and I've done more than that. In 2016, I worked 55 days straight. And what's ironic, 2016, that night, I was turning 37 years old, was my birthday, February 9th. That night was my 37th night in a row. And I counted it, that was the one stint that I kept track of. There was another stint I did within that same year. I had did over 30-something days straight. It was only those two main ones I kept track of. Then the previous year, I had worked, towards the end of 2015, I worked a bunch of days straight. But that's not no beta male stuff. You know, beta males couldn't do stuff like that. You know, so I'm just kind of saying, putting certain things out here that I feel like needs to be addressed. So to those out there who reached out to me, text me, you're on my time. I'm not going to get back to your emails or texts right away. I know a lot of people. I've had people behind the scenes inbox me. You know, you're not going to slip in through the door. I already have my people. And like I said, I'm looking for a specific criteria of an individual. If you're a member of the private sector, that means I need to see credentials. Or I can tell when an individual has a skill set. I have a spirit of discernment. I was born as an empath. I was an indigo child, and I'm an empath. So I have a spirit of discernment. I can read people too. Sometimes it may take me a while, but I had, you know, it's not a problem, but I had a subscriber that contacted me, and I said specifically, I'm mainly looking, I don't normally reach out or allow subscribers to reach out to me personally, and I say for security purposes too, because as people have different ideologies and stuff, and I won't get into that, try to sway you in these different directions, and I've experienced a lot in life. I've been through the school of hard knocks. Born in Cleveland, raised in Detroit, a thoroughbred. Basically, I'll leave it at that. I went to Cooley High. I used to hang some of my young posses, had to play catch up on my own. I was a sheltered mama's boy, church boy, who woke up to the truth on my own. Nobody pulled me to the side and taught me. As far as I learned the truth about religion, I seen my dad wasn't even there to basically protect me when I had to go through my adolescent years, whatever. And I hung with one of my friends, went to King High School, which was like a rival school with Cass Tech or whatever. Some years ago. That's all. I kind of leave it at, give a little background. I was part of a rap group. So I've been through the school of hard knocks. So I've seen some things, and, you know, but I'm going to say I was looking for a specific criteria, people that had a skill set. Don't contact me if you're not proficient in this skill set. You're not going to help me get access to this money. Don't just speak about it, and you want to pull a lot of information from me, but you don't want to walk me through. Like I had a friend, for example, and he was a close, good friend of mine, and I don't hold it. I was telling another friend, you know, we've done things for each other, but he moved out of state. He's actually, well, I won't get into that, but some years back, about a year or two ago, he came up here. He was supposed to show me how to basically set my trust up with Treasury Direct, and I said, are you going to walk me through it? Because you said this before. I hook him up with one of my top connections, one of my best people. He didn't follow through. I'll make a long story short. I asked him, I said, you going to go? I said, I need you to walk me through step by step. Because one thing I know about these elite people, they can automate you. Just like, even though a pilot has been to pilot school to be able to fly a plane, you know how they have a section on a plane where they can put it on autopilot. They can take it off manual. Just like your car, you can take it off manual drive, and certain cars have cruise control in a way. And then some of the cars in the future with the new technology are going to actually be like damn near self-driven or robotic. Look it up. You know, they got new stuff coming out. So I know some of these elite ruling class at the top can make the information easier to help those of us who already attended this event and stop being so difficult and take care of your people that sign the NDAs and confidentiality agreements. I'm just saying, I figured this out because I heard this individual even mention you guys held people by the hand and walked them through. So I'm not in a position yet, and I'm not going to teach something that I'm not proficient, but I already paid my dues by paying the money to attend those events, going over that information and follow all of the rules that I was supposed to. So I've already met the qualifications, the criteria. I've gone above and beyond the call of duty. So from my point, I didn't mean for this video to really sound like a rant. I might have to change the title of this video to my rant, but these are some concerns, some issues I wanted to address to let those of you all out there know what's going on with some things. But I'm I was displeased in a way with some things that I've heard, but I know that these people can help assist us. But this friend that I brought up, this reason I was telling the story, make a long story short, he didn't walk me all the way through like he was supposed to. Said Rico Warren, said my boy Dorsey going in. Appreciate you, Rico. I've checked out your channel before from, I think, believe the TDA, some of the TDA videos or whatever. Thanks for joining the chat. everybody. But I'm just kind of going in like this, you know, just to let it be known. And I've seen other content creators have to go in like this too. This is not something new. Like, I didn't reinvent the wheel. There's an old saying, there's nothing new under the sun. I just have to let it be known, you know, certain individuals, you're not going to control me mentally. None of this stuff. I study psychology. I even put, if you look at my overview of my channel section, when I go over some of the things I've studied, different regards, I study history, a little bit of political science, dating psychology. I did that on my own. That was another thing that I was into before I got into AK sovereign or redemption movement stuff. And I still, like, it's like a hobby. And I also am college educated. So I can understand narcissistic people, sociopaths, psychopaths, or people who try to be controlling or whatever. And I try to strive myself individually as far as being a man of integrity, try to give you all as much information that I can give you as a courtesy. By the way, mind you, I'm sharing this as a courtesy. I don't have to be, and I am fully aware I can go more in depth in certain things in the way I break certain things down, but I don't, because I was explaining to a friend of mine out there, you do have some people who are not as responsible with this type of information and go out there and mess up. And that's another thing I didn't understand when I attended that event, that private clandestine operation. Those people, and I forgot to bring this up to the individual on the call, those people who allegedly had access to the black cards, why weren't they punished? Why were the rest of us punished? At least they got a chance to access it before it was turned off. That's not fair. And to me, you know, and they're saying, well, we move as one entire family. And I had to ask a friend of mine who was well studied in some areas such as eschatology study. This is where the Illuminati stuff ties in, to kind of explain. And he said, well, these people, they don't see you individually. They see you as a whole. Well, until you, I guess, go all the way through and make it through all their criteria, which is like you got to basically go through their initiation process, I guess, to get, like, you got to sacrifice something to go through hell to basically get what they're offering. And this is why it would determine why some people want to be yays and some people will decide to be nays, I guess, or whatever. It's kind of I'm still speaking in code. Not saying the name of the event, but some of you all know who did attend or follow me, know me personally, know what I'm talking about. You know, and this is not on no weak stuff. I'm just keeping it real. But to get back to that individual, he was a good friend of mine. I expected him, like, to walk me through. I said, man, are you going to show me? He was like, yeah, I'm going to show you how to tie your trust in with Treasury Direct, and didn't do it. Reneged on his word, basically. And then got the person I hooked him up with to help, I guess, one of his former girlfriends, you know. But you didn't look out for your boy, you know, who told you about this information many years ago. Now, you helped wake me up to some things dealing with the registered securities and stuff like that, because you have a background as a stockbroker. But me personally, if I had gone all the way through and I understand how to pull this invisible money from the private sector and bring it into the public, my best friend or my ace boon coon, my dude, my people, I'm going to take care of them. Especially if I had a significant other. I'm single, I don't have any children. But I'm going to take care. If I was in a relationship, I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to be loyal. My significant other, and that's one of the things I would love to do. I can't wait to be able to settle down, because I feel like I could have been married by now, putting up with all this BS from these people. Because whoever my significant other, my mate's gonna be, I want to make sure, you know, of course, I want to make sure we're the right match with soulmates, where we complement each other well. And there's some things I kind of discovered in regards to that. That's a whole separate video I could do dealing with the astrology stuff. And not just the Western astrology, but the Eastern chart I found out about is something entirely something else. But I feel like I could have been married in a relationship. I feel like enjoying my quality of life. I tell a friend of mine all the time, I said, man, if this had came through, it is about the money. But I'm a responsible person. You know, Vedic, not sure what you meant by Vedic salute. Appreciate Eureka joining the chat. You break down what you mean by when you said Vedic. You know, if you want to rephrase or jump back in, let me clarify what you're meaning by that. I didn't really kind of pick up that acronym, or if it was a cliche. Vedic astrology. Okay, got you. That's what's up. Yeah, I love the astrology. That's something else I was into too. Even though I grew up in the church because one of my relatives was like, she was like, I don't believe in it. And I was like, well, I believe in it. And I'll tell her, you know, like, but my barber, who at the time, and his assistant, they were both Christian. And they told me that, like, I gave an example because it was stated to me that astrology was used in the Bible. We said that's the Eastern system. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to, thanks for that. You know, I'm aware of the Eastern chart. That's good. You know, we got some knowledgeable people in here. See, I'm not the only one. You know, we pour back into each other. I can still learn from you guys. I'm not a know-it-all. Like I was talking about narcissistic people, you know, are like the know-it-all types. But the reason I'm doing this video was just to clarify, you know, some things. But I appreciate the feedback that I get. You guys, because this is open forum. I did mention in the beginning, you know, if you guys want to chime in, have any questions before I get ready to shut it down, you know, you're welcome to chime in. And so I've been kind of going over this rant. So to make a long story short, back to this friend and everything that was supposed to walk me through. And I understand too, in life, I was also told by some other mentors I had, you also have to depend on yourself. You can't depend on other people sometimes. So I get that because the universe is based on balance. But you at least want, if a friend of yours is going to give you their word, you want them to at least give you their word. Because I feel like if I know how to pull this money from the private sector and bring it into the public, I'm gonna look out for my best friend, my significant other. If I was in a relationship, I'm gonna make sure she's straight, she's taking care of my best friend, my people. And that's my word. You know, I'm gonna take care of them first. You know, that's my number one priority. And I'm gonna go over all the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, like not to get impulsive, because they say that it's the love of money is the root of all evil. I was breaking this down to a friend of mine. People get it confused. It's the lust of it, because you have some people like the ruling class, some of the evil cabal people, or deep state operatives, they're using it as a form of control, a control mechanism. There's a saying, it's for the love of money. It's a lust of it. It's the root. That's the root of all evil. But money, you have to keep in mind, it's a tool. It's a bartering system that it's a form of exchange. Years ago, when people hunted or whatever, different tribes, tribal men, they might exchange different items or goods with each other. Like when people make contact sometimes with these indigenous tribes, they will offer goods to them sometimes to break the ice with the tribal people. They might not be able to fully speak the language. They might give them tools. That's like a form of currency. It's bartering. That's all currency is. But it's when individuals use it, like the central banking system, as a form of control to manipulate, and like what they're doing to control people. That's the evil part of it. And that's where it gets into where it can be the root of evil. There's a difference. And that part doesn't really get explained to clarify. Remember, this universe is based on balance, yin and yang. That's why the yin and yang symbol is so powerful. Just like in Eastern medicine, your body's too yang, that's like fire. Similar to the Western medicine, body's too acidic, means you need to balance it out with alkaline. If the body's too yang, you need more yin, or water, or soft to balance it out. In martial arts, you have hard arts, soft arts. The universe, male and female, it's based on balance. So with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to shut things down. I want to thank you guys who did join this chat. I did go kind of long or whatever in this open forum. I appreciate you guys, but I wanted to clear some things up, get some stuff off my chest, whatnot. You can follow me on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource, and I'm on YouTube at Dorsey's Resource. Until next time. Oh, and I forgot to give my disclaimer. In case, once again, I do leave it in the description area, but this video is educational, informational, entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may have been different for information I went over in this video. Please keep in mind it's up to every individual competent person that this is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you need to seek a competent professional, it's encouraged you do so at your own leisure. Dorsey's Resource is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. These are just simply my thoughts and opinions on the topic. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Once again, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. It lets the trolls know, even if you don't totally agree with what I'm saying, it lets the haters and the trolls know that you appreciate my work. Rico Warren says, big ups, keep doing your thing. Appreciate you, bro. Until next time, everybody, Dorsey's Resource, I'm out.